Hi, second graders. We are on lesson 9.3, day 2. So you should have completed the 2 open response questions from yesterday. And what we're going to do this morning is I want you to have your papers in front of you, but we're going to start by looking at some student samples and talking about them and talking about the solutions that they came up with. And then we'll talk a little bit about how I want you to look over your work and to use a checklist to revise it and see if there's any changes you can make. All right, so this is sample work from child A, and this is the question that says there are 3 muffins and 2 children are sharing 3 muffins equally. And so the student drew a picture, and you can see here are the 2 students, and here are the 3 muffins. And what they did, I can clearly see, is they're giving each person a whole muffin, one whole, and then they're taking the third muffin and they're splitting it in half, and this person gets half and this person gets half. And their written response says each person gets 1 muffin and a half a muffin. So if I were sort of evaluating this and looking it over, I would ask myself, did this student show how to share 3 muffins between Sammy and Anna? And I checked yes. I think the student did show how these 2 would be sharing these 3 muffins. I think the picture is really clear. I can understand it. The only suggestion I might make is that they label this circle 1, and they label each of these a half, either using words or fractions. Let's see what else. Did they explain how much muffin is in one child's share? Did they use words from the equal shares poster? Yes, they did. So they wrote each person gets 1 muffin and a half a muffin. Another way you could write that is 1 and a half. But they wrote 1 muffin and a half a muffin. I think that's pretty clear. Are your drawing and explanation clear enough that someone else could understand them? Yes, I think sample child A's work is clear and I can understand them. So if you're looking at your work, you want to ask yourself, is mine clear? Did I use words? Did I draw a picture that people could understand? It doesn't have to look like this, but you just want to make sure it hits these marks, and that's what you're going to be looking at later. All right, let's look at sample work from child B. So sample from child B, I can see they have the 3 muffins here, and then they took each muffin and they split it between the 2 people. So S and A, they each get a half a share here. S and A, this person gets 1 of 2 parts, this person gets the other of 2 parts. S and A split. So I think this picture is really clear. I can see how much each person is going to get. I think where they ran into a little bit of trouble is with their words. So it says 1 half, 1 half. I think 1 half, 1 half doesn't accurately represent how much each student is getting. They get a half from this muffin, a half from this muffin, and a half from this muffin. So they get 1, 2, 3 halves. So they could have written that they have 3 halves. They could say 1 half and another half make a whole. So they could say S gets 1 whole and a half. So there are some words that aren't exactly clear in their explanation. So if I were looking at this, I would say, did you show how to share 3 muffins between Sammy and Anna? Yes, I think that they accurately and clearly showed how to share them with their picture. Did you explain how much muffin is in one child's share? Did you use words from the equal shares poster? So I marked it in the middle between yes and no. I think that student B tried to explain. I think they also use words from the poster, but unfortunately they're unclear and incorrect. Are your drawing and explanation clear enough that someone else could understand them? And I put this in the middle because I think the picture really is clear. Even I like how they use this to say these parts belong to S and these shares belong to A. But like I said, the explanation is not clear. So that might be a place where that student needs to revise their written work. All right, let's look at sample work from child C. Now this is question 2. Question 2 says there are 4 students sharing 5 muffins. There are 4 students sharing 5 muffins. So I'm going to kind of go through the picture and just show you my understanding of their picture. I think they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 muffins. So they started with 5 muffins. And then they're showing that 1, 2, 3, 4, each student gets a whole muffin, one whole muffin. And then it looks like they tried to break the last muffin into 4 equal parts. So this picture is a little unclear to me, but I can see one part here, one part here, one part here, and then a big part here. So you want to make sure that each of the shares is equal. So if you were breaking a circle into 4 equal parts, like it seems like this student was doing, if I wanted to revise and edit to make my picture more clear, this would be a good way to make sure that your 4 parts, were equal. Look, I gotta move it up. Your 4 parts were equal. So I think this is what they were trying to draw with that 5th muffin. Okay, they were saying each person's getting a whole, and then one person's getting 1/4, another person's getting 1/4, another person's getting 1/4, and the last person's also getting 1/4. So it's a little unclear in the picture, but I think they did their best. And then I think this part shows it a little bit better where they're taking the 4th and putting it with the whole. So each person would be getting 1 whole and 1/4 muffin. So I'm going to write that out for you. Each person would be getting 1 whole and 1/4 muffin. And you might have written it another way, but that would be a little bit more clear in words instead of saying 1/4, 1/4. I don't think that their explanation is clear. So let's look. I said, did you show how to share 5 muffins among 4 children? I put yes because I think even though this is a little bit hard to read and the shares aren't equal, they did a great job where they brought each 4th and they tried to make them equal to each student. And then it says, did you explain how much muffin is in one child's share? I put it in the middle. I think they tried to explain, and I see that even with the arrows they're trying to explain, but their words don't match their picture. Each student is getting 1 whole and 1/4. Are your drawing and explanation clear enough that someone else could understand them? I also put it in the middle because I think that this part here, they ran into a little bit of trouble breaking that muffin into 4ths. So that would be something that they would need to go back with a colored pencil and revise. All right. So today what you're going to do is you're going to take your open response questions 1 and 2, and you're going to go through the checklist just like we did for these questions, for the samples, and you're going to ask yourself these questions and check yes or no, and you can do it in the middle if you need to, and I would think anything in the middle might be something you also need to revise. And then I wrote you a note. After completing this checklist, use a colored pencil or a separate sheet of paper to revise your work. If you marked no to any of the questions, you should make a revision. If you answered yes to all the questions, go back and double check your work to see if there's anything you can add to improve the quality of your work. So take some time today, look over your work. You could always rewatch this video for some of the solutions and to look over the pictures. Complete the checklist. Make any revisions you can. I wouldn't erase because like you can see in Student C, it gets a little messy and hard to read and you can't see your thinking. So I would just use a colored pencil or draw a new picture either at the bottom or on a separate sheet of paper, and then post your new answer or your revised answers on Seesaw. When you finish all of that, make sure to complete the math boxes on page 226 for review. Have a great day.